basically. Yeah. Let me tell y'all a story about a boy. Or should I tell you a story about me? Let's tell you a story about me. Where do we begin? So I was told I was maybe a few weeks old, and I went to stay with my dad's mom, which is my grandma. Obviously, both parents were, I guess, incarcerated, or however you look at it, or going to be incarcerated. So I was raised by my grandmother. Let's see. And also having to figure out that I was like addicted to women, like from an early age. Every chapter of my life, there was a woman. So I stayed with my grandmother from roughly a few weeks old to when I was 8. My grandmother always made sure I went to spend time with the other side of my family, which was my other grandma. And that's where I spent a lot of time there, but I lived with my dad's mom. But I would always go to my mom's house. Let's see, and I went to, so I lived with my grandmother. I went to this certain daycare from early on, I want to say, had to be, I want to say, from 3 till 8, I believe. So so at my grandma's house, there was usually around the corner, there was a set of kids who I was cool with. And they was a mixture of brothers and cousins, brother and sister and cousins. There were two guys my age and their sister, I believe. There were twin girls. Um, so I had took a liking to another cousin they had. They also took a liking to this young lady at we were kids back then. This young lady at the daycare that I was going to. Me and her had a special connection. We liked each other, but we were also friends. More friends than anything. Oh my gosh. So I probably had my first girlfriend at, I don't know, anywhere like, I probably was like 6 or 7. It was a little kid girlfriend, nothing serious, no anything. Just a girl my age. So I'm like, hey, we had already been spending so much time around each other by being friends with the brothers. What up, viewers? Seeking us. So let's see. So in the household was my brother, my grandmother, and we always visited my auntie's house. What up? So I was raised with my dad's side of the family. Doing good. What's going on? So, and I kind of learned at an early age. So, let's see. So, I started kindergarten, and I remember, I think that's when I realized I wasn't the same as everybody. I don't think y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Oh, I'm not tired, but I did just get up like 15 minutes ago. Can y'all hear me? Hey, Gabby, can you hear me? I'm gonna assume you can. Okay. You can still hear me right now? You look mad tired. No, I'm good. I'll figure it out. All right, thanks. Yeah, so where was it? I started kindergarten. And one thing about me, each chapter in my life, I had best friends. I made real good friends. And there was a girl or two that I was doing whatever I was doing. So yeah, so it was about, I must have been around 5. Are you 5 in kindergarten? Um, Yeah, so I was around 4 or 5. I was in kindergarten, so I was. That's when I realized that I was different from all the other kids because in class, they give us our little homework, whatever it might have been. Back then, it was probably like doing shapes and drawing and writing your name. So I'm like, I'm not. So when I realized, hey, I'm supposed to write my name, I wrote it once in practice again. But it's like I'm not gonna just keep writing my name all day. And I noticed I'm like, okay, all the other kids are sitting here steady doing this assignment or whatever you call it. I'm like, I've already done this. I've done it. I practice. I understand it. So I'm like, I'm not just gonna sit here and just keep looking at this paper and pretend like I'm doing it. So I think that's when I realized, hell, I'm a little different. So while all the other kids was quiet, focusing on their homework, I was started. I'm like, I want to do stuff, talk, walk around, whatever it was. I'm not gonna sit here and look at this paper. I already know how to do this work. So the school I went there from kindergarten to second grade. What they say? I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. Yeah, so by the second grade, I'm not saying I was smart. I'm saying, well, I guess you could say that. Yeah, I'm just like, bro, like if I know how to do this and I've done it over and over and I practice it, I'm not gonna keep doing this for the remainder of the day, bro. I'm not doing that. So I was like 5 and I realized, okay, I'm a lot different from all the other students. So yeah, that was kindergarten. So about the second grade, I started to get in trouble by just doing dumb shit, not really crazy stuff, just like won't stop talking or whatever. So I said I went there from kindergarten to that school, Parsons Elementary. It was just called Parsons. Not one. It was John Adams back then. That school is not even there anymore. But yeah. So I made it through kindergarten and first to second grade at that school. But second grade is where the bullshit started. So I had a best friend who went to the school with me. He also went to the daycare I was telling you guys about earlier. Um, so we was in kindergarten together, and we switched classrooms to go to first and second grade. So in second grade, I don't know how I don't even know how I ended up in this classroom. I think we had some sort of paper set what class we was in, and so I'm just going to school and I'm meeting with my friend who we go to school together. We was in the class together. We went back to daycare, so we was always together, all at daycare and school. So I'm like, so I guess we're going to the classroom. I'm like, what classroom? He like, we look like we were in two different classes. I'm like, I'm not going to a different class. We were just in the same class. We're going to the same class. So we go in the classroom and the teacher's like, she was talking to me. She's like, you're not in this class, so you need to go find your class. But I'm like, I'm not leaving this class. He's in here, so I'm in here. I'm just dumb. I think I ended up getting suspended that day or whatever the case may be. So my grandmother then came and got me from school, but for whatever reason she wasn't mad, which she never was. I never really got in trouble by my grandma. Everybody says I'm her favorite, however you look at it. So she come to get me from school, and so I'm thinking well, I know I'm not going to get in trouble. I don't know what's going to happen, but she's like, blase, blase. Okay, you spend it all week. We gonna go get you home, blase, blase. You wanna get some ice cream? I'm like, all right, yeah. Now, mind you, this is the first time I really got in trouble in school ever. But I'm like, also, if I get in trouble in school, I get to go get ice cream. Well, I'm gonna keep getting in trouble then. But that I completed second grade with my grandmother. So where do we go from here? I remember we went to go get the ice cream, whatever. Everything was cool. I was expecting to get some type of whooping later for getting suspended. Twin, what? You funny. So around 8 was third grade. My mother had got out of prison, and my brother at the time was like, my mom came to visit, like, She talked to my big brother first. She was like, you look like a crush on twin. Yeah. I don't know what that means. Talking like that to get you blocked, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't play like that in here. So, my mom comes. Mind you, I look at my grandmother's mom, but I know my grandma is my grandma, and I know my mom is my mom. So she comes to the house or whatever. What the heck? Um, she come to the house, talk to my brother. She's like, so I'm gonna be taking you guys. He ready to go. She asked me. I'm like, nah, I don't want to go. I mean, I didn't know where he was going, but I'm like, I'm already at home. I don't want to go. I don't know what that change is going to look like. So my brother ended up leaving, and shortly after, I'm like, okay, mom, I'll come out. Now as he leaving, I'm like, hey, all right, well, so I guess maybe a couple weeks later, my mom finally get out of jail. She, like I said, she came and got my brother. And so a couple weeks later, maybe I'm like, at this time I'm 8, so I'm in the 3rd grade. So I'm like, okay, mom, I'll go. So we end up going for whatever reason. She came and got us. We lived with her mom, and so I switched sides of the family. And the school I was going to was technically out south at that time, but I lived out west with my grandmother. So we she took us to live with her mom, which lived out east. So I switched sides of family and switched sides of town. And yet again, that's 3rd grade. So I lived with my mom's mom for my entire 3rd grade year, I believe. And my mom was, I guess she was just getting back on her feet from getting out of prison for however many, I don't even know how long she was gone. But I guess about 8 years or something seems like. Why do you keep saying twin? That's funny. What up, twin? What's the word? How you doing today? Yep, so that's when I had got real close with I had a auntie, a cousin, and my little sister. So my little sister, my brother, we all got the same mom, obviously, however you look at it. So we all, what I do in 3rd grade. So once I started getting in trouble in school, I never stopped. And yet again, I'm like, this work is easy. I can fly to. I'm not fit to sit here and just pretend like I don't know this work. If I can do it, I'm done. Let's see. So man, there was so much stuff going on out east at that school. Yeah. So there was this young lady. She was we were real cool. She was attractive, but we was only friends. We used to play basketball at her house like every day. She was better than me in basketball for whatever reason. She could play. I mean, she's a girl who could play. I would never really. I was only playing because that's what boys did. So let's see. So I'm getting in trouble in school. I'm starting to get in trouble all the time. I think the last day of school in the 3rd grade, the principal came to me and told me, "Hey, you have to go tell your mom you can't come back to the school." So that was 3rd grade. So I spent 1 year out east going to that school, and then yet again, my mom finally, I guess throughout the year, she got on her feet. She bought a house, and we moved out west. So yet again, when I switched sides of family and switched sides of town, so we went to school 4th, 5th, and 6th. I went to the same school, and immediately when I switched sides of town, there was a few girls and a few kids who I became real close friends with. So yeah, so 4th grade was fun. I would have to say 6th grade was my best year in grade school as far as had the most fun in 6th grade. So the summer going to the 4th grade, there was some kids down the street who had a very big family, and me and one of the the family is kind of known for having a lot of kids. There's what I believe three sets of twins. So one of the sets of twins are my. We instantly became friends. I guess we were the same age, whatever the case may be. But one of the twins I actually got to fight with. It was just neighborhood dumb stuff. Their family was down the block on that side. We weren't like enemies. There was no bad blood. We was just they were on the block before we got there, and so it was nothing special. It was just we had to be what eight, 8 years old, maybe third, no, fourth is what 9. So we was in between 8, turning on 9, whatever we. So me and his twin, we got to fighting for whatever odd reason. I think one of the girls in the family came was like, the kids down there kind of picky. So I went out there, and they had their family, and I had my family. So we met in the middle of the street, and me and the guy, we knew each other. We wasn't like friends. We wasn't like enemies. We didn't like it. We didn't not like each other, but we wasn't consider ourselves friends. They was just the kids who lived up the street. So we got the fight. It wasn't really like a good fight. There was no. We were kids. There wasn't no blood drawn. It was just a couple punches through, a headlock, and that was kind of the end of the fight. But for whatever reason, I always claimed it as a win, and he allowed me to. But that same friend, we became best friends. I guess later on in the summer, let's just say it was a few weeks, we ended up going to the skate ring because as kids, everybody always went to the skate ring. So I seen him at the. I really didn't notice him going too much before then, but for whatever reason, blase, blase. So so I see him like, hey, what's up? You want to get your rematch? We can fight every time we see each other, or we can be cool. He's like, nah, I'm really kind of good. I ain't really worried about that. I was like, crash out. That's funny. Not a chance. No, I'm from Illinois, bro. So he like, nah, I'm cool on fighting. It ain't really that deep to me. Like, even back then, I'm like, as a man, I'm like, hey, I'm not worried if you want you. And I mean, if I whooped you once, I can whoop you again. I don't mind fighting. I don't even care. So that's the summer. So when school started, I started the fourth grade. And so, back then, I don't even know what year that was. 94? Well, how old are we in the fourth grade? 8? I don't know. 9? So we was 9, so whatever. So I walked into school. That's funny. So yeah, I walked into school, and to the left there was a paper to tell us all of our what class we're in and who's all in the class. So I'm reading the paper and I'm going down the list. I'm like, I noticed the kid who I got to fight. I noticed his name. I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna know somebody because, like I said, I switched sides of town and completely switched schools. So I'm like, at least I'll know somebody here, whatever the case may be. Yet again, I made friends with like all my classmates. We're gonna get you up out of here. I'm tired of dealing with you. Let's go get you blocked, sir. I don't even need you on this channel. Keep it up. Who's next? So yeah, I'm like, so where we at? So we eventually, yet again, the homework is like I got it instantly. Once I get it, I'm not finna. And I was getting in trouble for just talking and just not paying attention, whatever the case may be. So, back in grade school, you used to go to a class. You sit in the classroom all day from what 8 to 3:30. So I started noticing the only homework I liked was math. I didn't like any. I understood all of it. I only liked math. I don't remember. So there's like one. I don't remember the girls in the classroom, but well, the exact classroom. I know who was at the school, so we were cool with everybody who was in the fourth grade, fifth, and we knew of the sixth graders. But whatever. So I skate through that year. Well, it wasn't just skate. I was getting in trouble a lot. So it's that fourth grade. So me and him became real close friends. The guy I got to fight with named Fat Boy. Um, So my unlucky ass, I got the same teacher who I wasn't like thrilled to have at that time, and I love her to death now. So I spent fourth grade with that teacher, and also spent fifth grade with the same teacher. I'm like, how do I get this? So I got to go through the same process for 2 years, but he ended up switching class, but there was a lot of kids in that class who I was cool with. Not as cool as him, but it's like, all right, well, he got to go to a different class. All right. I've already went through that from kindergarten. So I'm like, all right, well, I can do this work. So that's, what, fourth grade? But sixth grade is when this, oh my gosh, we had a ball. So he ended up going to sixth grade with me, and him was in the same class, and the twin brother was actually at the same school with us the whole time. He could have went to the classroom, but for whatever reason, he wanted to go. They said there was too many students in that class. We need to split the classroom up. So who wants to stay? Who wants to go? Me and the brother who was in fourth grade together, we decided to stay in that class. So he went to a different class. He switched classes because he told me there was different girls in the class that was going to be fifth and sixth grade split. We like, bro, we got everybody in here. So we had a crew of what? Me, the twins, and one of my cousins who I forgot to tell you guys about. Um, so me, him, and we had another friend and a few homegirls. Now, the kids who I became friends with in that sixth grade classroom, I'm still friends with today. So it's that sixth grade is what? Is that 11 going on 12? Well, we're from such a small town that um majority of the kids who was in that sixth grade classroom with them, well, some kids we ended up fourth, fifth, and sixth. We was knowing each other and going to hang out every day at lunch, and going to play basketball, the stuff the kids do, blase, blase. So a few of us went to fourth, fifth, and sixth together, and some of the crew who was with the fourth, fifth, and sixth, we also went to seventh and eighth grade together. So I was with these twins from what, fourth grade all the way up through high school. Went to the same grade school, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Same middle school, sixth and seventh. And majority of the high school, which is what's that, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now we went to the same school while I was at. I ended up moving out of town junior year, going to Indianapolis to finish high school because once I picked up on the work, I'm like, bro, I'm not finna just do this. I just want to funny. I appreciate that. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. This type of things. So I believe one of the funniest things I did in grade school was learning the what is it, the 100 fact multiplicate, the 100 fact sheet. So I started learning little tricks how to remember the numbers, how to remember like 8 times 8. I can look and say, oh, that's 64. That's similar to what's the video game back then was a Nintendo 64. So I'm like, it was little stupid tricks like that. I'm like, oh, okay. So that math skills got me through. I don't believe I learned any more math from what I learned in fourth and fifth grade. So by the time I got to middle school, transitioned to high school, a counselor come talk to you from the high school you're going to go to. She's like, okay, this is how you make your schedule, blase, blase. Everybody gets these general classes, whatever. And she's like, well, you're going to be in this math class. I'm like, what level of math that I'm? She like, that's pretty easy. I'm like, well, I can't be in that class because I already know all this stuff. She was like, well, high school is different, and she only put me in a lower math class because of my how I was such a bad student. So whatever. But so when I get to high school, I'm in like the lowest math class they got, which was back then called Math Connections. It's basic shit. So teacher hand out papers that says like 1x plus B equal 13 or some shit like that. Solve for B or whatever. So the paper was just like a regular fact sheet of paper that you put in the printer, and it had like 20 questions or 20 problems on there. So we had like 30 students in the class. So by the time the teacher passed out the homework, I've already finished it in the classroom. So I had to go tell the class like, hey, I can't be in this math class. I'm wasting time. They like, so if you get if you end the quarter with the 90% or 100 or something like that, then we can put you in a different math class. So I end up, I think all of my freshman year, I went from when I jumped from math connections to pre-algebra, and then I end up in being like honors algebra, and it never got harder for me. It's like, bro, I can still do this work in my sleep. So let's see. So I went to talk to the counselor. I jumped up one class. I kept jumping from math class to math class, going up each time. They like, the counselor's like, well, you can't really. They kept telling me every time the same thing. If you get in the inner quarter, you have between a 90% and 100, we can jump you up again. So I think all in the first year I had math connection. What I say, pre-algebra, algebra. So I'm like, even in honors class, the teacher had to tell me, hey, can you? She pulled me aside one day. Hey, can you stop answering all the questions? You got to give students a chance. I'm like, all right. Well, you just asked for somebody knew the answer, put their hand up and answer. I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I did the same thing. So I'm just like, I'm not. I don't want to go to what is it, trig or calculus. I'm like, I can understand that type of math, but I don't like to do it. So I end up sitting in what, advanced algebra, all I don't know, maybe second semester, maybe. But me and the twin I got to fighting with, we actually had one of those math class together. I guess it was we might have had algebra, maybe. No, I think it was one level under algebra at that time. So I'm like, look, dude. So they was giving us homework. It'd be like 30 problems for roughly 5 points. So I'm like, hey, I told my best friend at the time, I'm like, we called each other brothers because we became brothers. I'm like, hey, just tell me whenever we got a math test. So I started skipping school all the time. He's like, bro, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, me and you already know this math, so I don't even understand why you are here. So I would come to class, like, I guess we have tests on like Fridays. I'm like, why would I spend my time doing all this work to get 5 points? We might get what, 45 points throughout the week in homework assignments, but the test was always worth 100 points. So I'm like, if I just ace all the tests and skip all the homework, yeah, you guys can question what's up. Hi, back to you. I just noticed you said hi. What's the question? Yeah, so he like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, you think I'm finna? I don't waste my time. I never have and never will. Yeah, we gonna get you up out of here. I ain't got time for dumb stuff. Good question though. Yeah, so where else we at? So my plan worked. He'd tell me. Of course, he's gonna tell me he's my best friends. He like, oh, we got a test. So I come to class, ace the test. Wouldn't think about the homework. Well, I wouldn't do the homework, but I would open my book and look and make sure I know what it was, which I always did. So I end up, long story short, I end up passing class. And besides, like, there was behind us in the classroom, there was like a wall of extra credit. So I could turn around, look at the wall, and just see the questions or whatever, and figure out the answers immediately. So I would get like 30 points extra credit every time I went into class or whatever it was. So I was definitely passing that class. I think I ended up passing like I don't know, a B or a C. I think probably was a B. Um, yeah, so we end up passing the class, whatever. But at that time, my mom was working or whatever she was doing. But somewhere in high school, the school lost my mom's number, however they did it, and they asked me now. Mind you, I'm still living with my brother, my big brother, my little sister, and my auntie, who's 2 years older than me. So like, if y'all can't call home to whatever talk to my mom, so I end up. It's like, what's your mom number? So I play stupid. I'm like, I don't know. I get up and go to school. She dropped me off at school, and I get home. She's not there, so I end up giving them my auntie, who went to the same school with me. End up giving them her cell phone number. Said, hey, so hey, they gonna call, just act like my mom. Of course, we're kids, so she's like, all right, no problem. So I was getting in trouble in school, but wasn't getting in trouble at home. So I'm like, whatever. But just like all the other youths, I'm learning to work. I'm like, I learned it already. So what are we going to do? I'm passing all the tests that I'm trying to pass. So I'm like, I don't really need to be here if I'm not learning anything new. I already got all this. Why I need to be here? So I start skipping. I start skipping classes in the school in sophomore year because they said thought I was going to be on the basketball team. They said to get your driver's ed class license, and like you have to pass all your, you have to get what, 6 out of the 7 credits. You basically have to pass. You got to pass gym at the time, gym, and something else. You had to, I think health. That wasn't health. It was gym. So I ended up getting the driver's ed, passing driver's ed with no problem because I learned how to drive a car at 13. And my auntie, who was taking those cars for me, we all would ride together. But I was such a kid coming from 6th grade to from middle school to high school. I'm like, I remember this. So my auntie was 2 years old. My freshman year, so she already had a car, and she was driving her, my big brother and her to school. I remember my first day of high school. I'm like, they left to go to school, and I ended up telling mom like, how am I going to get to school? She's like, didn't you go? Why didn't you go with them? I'm like, well, I always got on the school bus, or you took me to school. She was like, so from here on out, you need to get in that car with them and go to school. So I guess like freshman year, what's that? 13 or 14, I think. So my auntie would let us get around the corner and let me drive us to school. So by the time I got to driver's ed, I already knew how to drive. I've been driving since I was. My grandma used to let me drive her car, sit on her lap and drive. Well, she'll press the gas, I just turn the wheel. So I was comfortable with driving. So, and because I thought I was going to be on the basketball team, because I've been playing basketball from what kindergarten, no, about fourth, fifth, sixth, fourth it up to 10th grade. I was playing basketball every recess, outside, after school, everything. So thinking I'm going to get on the basketball team and driver's ed made me do good my freshman year. Well, I didn't do good. I just did good enough to get my license, good enough to be able to get in driver's ed. So I aced driver's ed. But when I did make the team, I'm like, well, I don't have to do all this. Well, what's the point of having good grades? I'm not going to be on a basketball team. I already got my license. I already passed driver's ed. So then, we start. I just started getting in a lot of trouble. But there was a big change from going to middle school to high school was a big change. So we did so much stuff in school. So we kind of had a rivalry. There was always a rivalry between whatever side of the town I was on and the opposite side. So I guess about after my junior year, my sophomore year. After I passed my driver's ed class or whatever, get my license, I started skipping school outside of school. So that ended up leading me to falling behind in school, so I was on the verge of failing out of not graduating high school, but I made a decision to move to Indianapolis my junior year, I believe. So I went and finished school up in Indianapolis with no problem because it's never been the homework. I always got understood the homework, but I didn't get to go to a regular high school in Indianapolis when I did. But I went to night school because I transferred. I think I moved roughly Valentine's Day. I gave my mom like a diamond necklace and a diamond earring because I was working a job from 16 to whenever the hell I moved was 16. Um, the whole sophomore year I was working. So I'm like, so the the people I went to live with in Indianapolis was my mom's sisters, my aunties. It's basically my auntie. By this time, my auntie's son had lived with us for periods of time too, for whatever reason. Just we was always doing some stuff. So I went to night school, and there was a girl in Indianapolis who we kind of not really we kind of took a liking to each other. Nothing. It was just kid stuff. So what's that? 17. Yep. So I ended up completing that. Same way I didn't get in trouble in night school. I just whatever. What is this? Um, uh, so where we at? 11th grade. So I got my first girlfriend in when I was my first love. I met her when I was in my teenagers. We got together my sophomore year. We was together. We got together my sophomore year, and I moved away my junior year. So of course that didn't work out. She did X Y Z, but me and this girl we're still friends to this day, even though we didn't work out. But whatever. So I moved back home for my senior year. I guess I was homesick. Well, I missed everybody. I didn't actually go to a regular. I didn't go to regular school. I went to night school. I'm like, I'm not having a high school experience. So I eventually ended up moving back to home and completing my senior. I'm like, this year for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going to try. And I end up getting straight A's the whole first semester, I believe. And it was just easiest. Not it was just easy when I was getting all C's and F's. All I had to do was I did all my homework, end up getting straight A's. But by the semester, they said, "Hey, we're gonna send you to future." I'm like, I don't want to go to an alternative school. They're like, well, it's for your benefit, but I didn't. Whatever. It was like, so if you come to this school, what's after second semester, third quarter, you're going to go to jail for trespassing. So I ended up going to Futures and doing the same thing. This Futures, it was an accelerated program, so one semester of this school is equivalent to 1 year of regular high school. So I'm like, whatever. Yet again, I made some friends in there. And there was some girls. There was two girls. One, we're still friends to this day. But I crushed on her so bad, and I told her, but I don't think I got a shot. But I might not. So what happened from there? Actually, a lot of stuff. Whoo, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Futures was easy. So everybody else was getting their habit. I had a car, so I'm driving to school every day. Yeah, so, like I say, I made some friends there. There were some girls there. Um, so I ended up graduating, but I think like 6 weeks or something before graduation, they like, you need to also while taking these classes, you need to also take an extra. You need to take a year's worth of social studies, and a year's worth of language, I believe, English. I'm like, I'm head to book from 8 to, I don't know, 3:30, 2 o'clock, whatever it was. It wasn't like a full 8 hour day at school. So I'm leaving school, going to work from 4. I had to go home, shower, get ready, put work clothes on from 4 to 11, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I was working 4 to 11 because back then that's all they allowed us to work to. So I met another one of my friends who I went to middle school with and high school with. We became real close friends when we started working together. So we was like, you know what? We're not. Why would we go to the football game, the basketball game, to spend money? We might as well stay at work and make the money because once the game over, everybody who's going to be at the game is going to come through this McDonald's. So yeah, I done jumped around the story. I went from sophomore year to senior, junior. So I guess one of the biggest things was I had braids from roughly sixth grade all the way up through high school until I moved. When I moved away, so I asked my mom while in middle school, I'm like, hey, can I cut my hair? I don't want to have braids anymore. She told me no, so I never asked her again. So I just had braids, even though I didn't want to have them. So when I moved to Indianapolis, I moved there a few times. So I think I cut my hair my senior year when I came. I went to NAP junior year, and whatever I did, I cut my hair like the first weekend I was there. So let's see where we at. So I'm gonna say roughly my first week of high school, I ended up running to a young lady who I fell head over heels for. So my little sister, my auntie was like, let's see, 2 years behind me. So if I was a junior, my sister would have been a freshman, 11th and 9th. So me and her ended up going to the same school, 11th grade year. So we will go to sleep in the same house, wake up, get dropped off to school together, and this idiot would always run up to me and be super dramatic as if she's never seen me that day at all. I'm like, what are you doing? I took a shower first, then you got in the shower. Bro, we just rode in the car together. Stop acting weird. But she's such a goofball that she always do that. It's like I was saying, I ran into this girl, my little sister, my auntie knew who she was. So there was a time that me, my brother, my little sister, and my auntie all went to the same school together. We were in high school together all at the same time because we're all 2 years apart. My big brother's 2 years older than me. My auntie is also 2 years older than me. My little sister is 2 years younger than me. So that was pretty fun. I think me and my brother ended up having. I think one year we had social studies together, or we might have had gym. I don't know. So I met this young lady and I was hooked. So I got to tell my little sister, my auntie, about this girl. I'm like, there's a girl who I'm like really interested in. They like, you don't remember her from being out east? I'm like, no, I don't remember her at all. So I made it a point to ask this girl every year directly, hey, do you want to date me? And she respectfully told me no every year. So So let's get back to futures, my senior year. So I'm making straight A's, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do a year's worth of work, plus the work I'm already doing at futures, which is already accelerated program. So I end up paying my auntie $75 to do either 50 or $75. I think I paid her $75 to do my English work, and I paid. Remember I was telling you about the twins? I paid the twin who wanted to go to the switch to the split classroom in grade school. I paid him like $75 to do my math homework that I had to do. It wasn't math; it was English and something else. I paid one to do one class, one work, and the other to do the other one. So I'm doing all this work. What's this serious? So I'm working every day from Monday to Friday from 4 to 11, going to school. Now at work to keep up with this work, I'm doing my homework. At work, before work, you get there early. I'm doing it on break, 30 minutes downstairs. I'm doing nothing but work and homework all day long while still having straight A's. That's why I say, I'm kind of different. But so let's see. Um, so I think they told me like 3 or 4 a week before graduation that I'm not gonna be able to walk the stage after I've already paid $300 for these classes and like $200 for this cap and gown. Um, yep. So at this time, I knew I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know nothing about college. Uh, so graduation come. I went. I didn't think it was a big deal. So I'm like, I don't even like school. I don't care about a graduation. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong. So I went to graduation because our class got erased. I want to see all my other friends graduate or whatever. So they're going through the names in the graduation, and my name is in the pamphlet, but they skip right over my name, and that's the pain to me that I never knew I was going to feel, and it kind of scarred me. So I'm like, I think that's why I was like, I don't really care about an academic education. I'm just going to school because I have to go to school. Now, mind you, these twins that I told you about, we've been together pretty much every day from 9 up. So I didn't walk the stage, but I did graduate high school. Even though I went to an alternative school, I got the same exact diploma as all the other kids. And while working at McDonald's, I had, remember I told you about the friend who was friends and we knew each other since middle school, but we couldn't say we were friends, we just knew each other. So he had another friend that he was real close with, and me and him became friends as well. And we're all still friends to this day. The twins, me and these two friends. So I didn't get to go back to high school, the regular high school, which was MacArthur High School. I didn't get to go back to high school after I went to Futures, but I told him, like, I'm like, hey, they pass up these diplomas every year the same time because I was at the school. I know when they do it. I'm like, just tell me when they doing that, and I can get my diploma because they was like, I wasn't able to get my diploma because they said I had a a book from freshman year. I'm like, you guys cleaned out my locker when I left. Why would I have a book from high school? I don't fucking want a book. So so when we graduated high school, so he ended up telling me the date that they was passing out diplomas. So I just went up there because I had graduated. But I'm like, I'm who's gonna know? As long as I don't see one of those people told me not to come back, then I don't have a problem. So I went that day, ended up getting my diploma. I'm like, yeah, I'm such and such, blase, blase. My diploma should be there. They looked through the box and found my diploma, handed it to me. I got my diploma, left the school, and I don't believe I went back into the school for like basketball games, but never just to whatever. So I graduated high school and I got my diploma just like everybody else. But attendance wise, I probably wasn't at school less than half. I must have been there exactly half of the 2 years. I don't know what that means. So, yeah. So the girl I took a liking to in Indianapolis, she ended up calling me on my 19th birthday. Was what 1 year after I graduated. I was bouncing. I was going to nap every other weekend from roughly I don't know, just since I was driving. Whenever I get paid, I tell my boss, hey, can I be off? I get 2 days off, which typically was Tuesday and Friday. So I would tell my supervisor, like, hey, can I work Saturday? Can I do something to change off my off days so I could be gone to nap Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? He was like, yeah, if you can work another day or switch out a shift with somebody so that your shift is covered. So my 19th birthday, I went to Indianapolis back to the house where I used to live at while I was there. I didn't do anything special. I just turned 19 up there, and I had a couple dollars because I've been working all from 16 to 18ish or whenever I moved up there, however you look at it. So I went to Indianapolis and we didn't do anything special. We just sat in the house, laughed, joked, played cards, and ate Little Caesars pizzas. That was everything I needed though. I was with my literally best friend at the time, and he got two sisters, which is we're all kind of cousins. We're not blood cousins, but we're cousins. So we always kick it, laugh, and just whatever socialize. So I left there. It takes about if you speed, it takes about 2 hours to get from Indianapolis back to wherever home is for me. So I drove straight there. Now I get there, so I go to my best friend's house, the twins. I drive home. I park outside their house, and by the time I'm walking upstairs their house in their bedroom, I get a call from a 317, which is Indianapolis number. I'm like, who's calling me? Y'all know I just left. You know exactly where I'm at. So as I'm twisting the doorknob to walk in the room, my phone is ringing. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Who is this? Blase, blase. She like, I know you just come all the way down here and not come see me. Mind you, me and this girl, we're it's not really that, but our actions isn't that, but I liked her a lot. I'm like, it wasn't nothing like that. I just popped it out. I didn't even do anything special. So she like, well, my how you been doing? I'm like, oh, I've been cool, just doing what I'm doing, just working, whatever I'm doing at the time, blase, blase. She like, so my birthday is March 7th, so she called me, she like, you wanna take me to my I think it was her junior, cause I got her by a year, baby, whatever. I think she's like, you wanna take me to my no, it might have been her senior homecoming. I'm like, when is it? She like, roughly April, between April 8th and 15th. I'm like, all right, sure. What colors you wearing? She tell me I'm wearing like teal. Like what? I didn't know at that time. I didn't know what color it was. I'm like, send me a picture. Mind you, like I said, I'm working a job. Oh yeah, I left McDonald's and went back once, I believe. Whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take you. So, mind you, at this time, I don't believe me and this girl has. I don't believe we've seen each other at this time in person. Anyway, I seen her in MySpace, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take you. So I tell my boss, hey, I need to go to Indianapolis again. So we worked around my schedule. I was able to go. So I drive up there. I was comfortable with. Back then, they had a little what's the phone radio, so there wasn't like a GPS thing type. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't remember. So I ended up taking it to her senior homecoming, I believe. It must have been prom because it was April. What's in April? It must have been prom because homecoming is generally at the beginning of the school year. So let's just say it was prom. So I had already graduated high school though, but it's like, all right. So I drive up there, and I end up. She tell me the location to where she was at. She was at her best friend's house. So we met up there, and I remember I knocked on the door, and they let me in. I guess because she told her friend I was coming, and so her friend would come out of a room. I guess the girl who I was going to go on a date with or whatever was in the room, and so the friend came out the room first, like and I noticed it's like damn, she looked good. She like I'm not such and such. I'm like I know you're not. I know what she looked like. So what we end up
Me and the girl I was taking out, we ended up going to the school. So the homecoming was at the school that I actually went to while I was in Indianapolis. So we ended up going to like we went to prom, but it was like a post. It was like some type of event before the actual prom. So we went to that. When we like, I think we danced a little bit, and she walked around, made her rounds. I'm like, you can go ahead and go talk to whoever you know, cause I don't. I'm not from. I'm just sit back here and chill. So she ended up. We had a great time. Went out to eat, and her friend's date he rented a limo. I had a car. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, so we ended up going to this. We went up going to a nice restaurant. While we eating the restaurant, it was someplace I want to go visit again. The restaurant, it was like a top floor. It spent the whole time we was eating. A slow spin is right next to the Colts Stadium. The food was decent, but whatever. The most interesting thing about me for that date was they had bottles of water we can buy for $8, and I bought one. I'm like, I'm buying one of those. So as far as the homecoming, no, this is as far as the prom. And I'm taking prom pictures. I paid for everything. I paid for our pictures, and I gave her the money for the tickets, I believe. Yep. So that was. Oh, that's my girl. Well, me and that girl, we're friends now, but she's married, so I don't really talk to her as much as I would like to. But whatever. So we had a good prom. We just being young kids. We did a little making out in the car before we went into prom. You know, nothing crazy, just innocent. A little kissing and a little nothing major. And that might have been my only time ever seeing her in person was when I met her when I took her to prom. Yep. So that was my nap lifestyle or whatever. So I graduated high school and we had the best graduation party ever. I danced with a gazillion girls. They got the fighting at the end, blase, blase. But it's a party that everybody still talks about to this day. So what's that, senior year? So mind you, me and these twins, I've never went to their house and they wasn't there, unless they was at a park or somewhere. I knew they were going to be. So what's that? Senior. So I guess I graduated high school and I'm still living at home or whatever. And I'm like, I walk to these twins' house and I walk in the house as I normally do. And I had been there for maybe an hour or two, maybe. And their mom ended up walking past. I'm like, when the twins come back? Where the twins at? She like, they at college. I'm like, what you mean at college? She like, I'm like, where college they go to? Then she like, something called EIU. So I'm like, so my best friend who I worked with, he was like, hey, I'm going to Indianapolis to go to college. I'm like, hell, if you leaving, I'm leaving too, because my best friends are already at EIU. So I ended up moving to Nap again after I graduated, and I stayed there for I don't know, maybe a year. I left there when I was maybe 20. Now, mind you, my friends in college they've been calling me every day, or not every day. They was calling me often. Hey, you need to come down here to party, party, party. I'm like, bro, I've been partying since I was 13. So I randomly ended up going down there one weekend for whatever reason, probably because I wasn't doing anything. I went and visited that one weekend, and the twin who I got to fight with, I ended up staying in his room because the other twin was doing, I guess he was pledging. And I remember I got there, I ended up sleeping I was willing to sleep on a hard floor. I'm like, bro, I just need a cover and a pillow. So the twin who was pledging was like, hey, bro, you might as well go out with him. But the twin who I got to fight with, he was actually in track, so he wasn't a partier. So he like, all right, I'll take him. So I'm like, we went to one party and I was hooked ever since. So I was like, what, 20, I think, when this happened? I was 19, 19 or 20. I can't remember. So that one part I went to had me hooked. I think it was an alpha party, and what happened? We went to that party. I think we got there at like 10, 11 ish. We ended up leaving at like 6 in the morning. But when I got there, so I never was a drinker, but I have drank liquor. So we got there. Why does it take 30 minutes? I just say 60. That's an hour. So what? Yet again, there was friends that I made, male and female. Actually, I just reconnected with a girl I had a crush on the whole time she was in college. I never told her. We real cool. We've been talking for like a few months now. As friends, we just kick it. We just she's as a matter of fact, she's gonna call me this evening. So I end up going to the community college there. So I lived in the not the college dorms with the kids, but I lived on the apartment complex. If I walked out my back door and I looked across the street was the college campus that the dorm room the kids lived in. So I decided from that one part, I said I'm going to go to that school. My best friends there, and I liked it. So so I ended up going to the community college there because I wanted to be around the school. So by this time, I already tried college at where I'm from, and I failed out of that, obviously, because I never cared. It wasn't this. It wasn't the experience I wanted. I didn't want to go to college for the academic success. I wanted to go for the experience of going to college. So I ended up going to community college, which was roughly 13 miles from my apartment. And I had my schedule to where I had morning classes, and I had a gap from I had like my prerequisites I had already completed or done some of them at the original college that I failed out of. I failed out, but I completed some classes, so I ended up finishing the rest of my prerequisites at this community college, Lakeland, that was 13 miles from EIU. So a lot of the kids thought I was a student there. I was going to all the parties and all the events, but I never stepped foot in any classroom. And I did that for about, I don't know, 2 to 3 years. Probably, I done enough work to where I could keep going back to school, but I was never tasting any type of degree back then. So I made a few lifelong friends, and there's a few girls who I'm still cool with now from when I was between 22 and 25, I think. So at this community college, I passed a few classes, and long story short, I ended up failing out of there as well. But by the time I was done going to that community college, I got out of college what I went to go get, which was the experience of being in college. So I knew what I wanted to do in life, and I knew what I didn't want to do. Let's see. We had some fun. College days. Wow. So yeah, so where they take me like yet again there was girls there who I was there was one girl who, oh my gosh, I actually ended up dating her, but while I was there in college she wouldn't give me a chance. She was like she only liked me as a friend. I started dating her, I think there was a girl who I met my junior year and no, not my junior year. I graduated high school or was graduating some shit. There was a girl I had met. My boss had been telling me, "Hey, my niece is coming. My niece is coming." My boss was white. I'm like, I don't really like white girls. Not I don't like them. I'm not attracted to white girls at that time. So I guess one day I'm leaving the swimming pool, and we go swimming every day in the summer. And so I'm coming back we walk from the swimming pool to my job, or the job I was working whenever I was working there. So what's this? I was 18, so this was before college, I'm assuming. So I left the pool and we walked to McDonald's. One day she happened to be working there. He like, my niece here, blase, blase. I'm like, all right, that's cool, all right. So I order my food, and I noticed there's this redhead, light skinned girl. That was my type at the time. Um, I only got to look at the side of her face. She was real skinny, which I didn't. I wasn't a fan of skinny girls at that time, and I still not. When I seen orange hair, and a pretty face, she only looked to the side. She was, I guess she was like working on the table. She kind of looked to the side, so I only seen the side of her face. But I could tell she was beautiful. So I'm like, if she work in the area I work in, we're going to work together at some point. So I left that day and went home and got my hair freshly braided to make a first impression. So I get my hair braided. I go to work whatever day, the following day, whenever it was. And instead of being in the grill area, that day she was in the window taking orders. Remember I told you about the friend who was friends with my friend? We became friends. So he beat me to her. So he was back there talking to her, blase, blase, whatever, cool. Now, there was a few girls who I was whatever, not messing around with. I was flirting with the whole time I was at work. So I worked my way to the back window, talk to the girl. Now, every question I'm asking her, he've already asked her. He studied answering. I'm like, dude, I'm talking to her. Why are you asking? So this was around 2007. So I guess ATL had just came out. So I'm like, and she was from Atlanta. I'm like, and so hey, so is Atlanta really like that? She like, yes and no, but I haven't went to that place in years. So we kind of hit it off as friends out the gate. So, but I knew I liked her. Like I was head over heels instantly. You know, I was that old. So at that time, bought my first car. I had a truck and a 1996 Caprice Classic, police package edition. So now me and this girl, we're not friends, but we're not like friends at this time. We were talking. I wouldn't say we were friends, but we was coworkers who seen each other, what, maybe 5 days a week. And so I would always, talk to her, trying to get her like whatever the case may be. And so one day I noticed she was like working at the front counter. I noticed this guy just kept looking at me. I'm like, so she came around the counter. I'm on break eating. She like, hope you don't mind. I told that guy you was my boyfriend because I didn't want him to flirt with me. I'm like, I'm not really tripping. She was from Georgia. I'm like, we don't really do that up here. But I'm like, I ain't tripping, but whatever. Blase, blase. So we started talking more and more at the job. I used to try to show out, so I'd come drive the parking lot, my music blasting as loud as I can. I knew we was friends. One day, I think I forgot the song called. I think it was Jeezy and somebody like. It's like I keep that white girl, Christina Aguilera, and this girl was mixed, so she was mixed. Her mom is white and her dad is black. So I'm banging the song as I'm coming to work. I gotta walk past her because she's at the front counter. I kind of gotta walk behind the front counter and go in the grill area. But as I'm walking past, she's end up singing the rest of the song that I was playing. So I'm like, okay, she's paying some sort of attention to me because I took it as that was her way of flirting. I'm like, whatever. So whatever she ended, I think that day, if I'm not mistaken, she asked me, could I take her home? I'm like, yeah, I can take you home. I ain't tripping. So let's see. I'm like, yeah, I just gotta. What time you get off? She like, 10 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I can take you home, but I'm gonna have to go get my other car. I was trying to show out. Both cars had surround sound in them. So if I'm not mistaken, I end up giving her a home. But as I'm in the car, I'm like, I need to switch and get in my other car. I so I started taking home my truck. I had to drive by my house, get my uh my 1996 Caprice Classic Bubble Chevy. Of course, I'm showing out trying to show I got two cars. They both got banging surround sound in them. So I think, if I can remember correctly, I took her home and she invited me in. Nothing like that. We just talked and listened to music, and she was dancing. We just blase. I think we ended up watching the movie. If I'm not mistaken, I have to ask her. We got real close real fast, but she was only interested in me as friends because she had like a high school sweetheart back at home. I'm like, all right, I ain't tripping. I liked her so much. I'm like, I deal with friends. So I didn't spend the night that night or whatever. We kicked it all day though. So let's see. I don't know what happened verbatim like the next day. I just know we were always cool, and for the next years, whenever she was in town, so she ended up telling me, like, let's just say it was a week later, maybe it was 2 3 days later, she was moved back to Georgia. I'm like, so we're in the break, we're in the front, we're in the lobby talking. She like, yeah, I'm leaving. I got to go back home and finish high school. So right then, there when she said that, she like, what's wrong with you? Because I had dropped a tear in my eye because I thought that was my person. I'm like, nothing really. I just don't want you to leave. And she was like, but why you crying? I'm like, no reason. She's like, bro, we don't even know each other like that. I'm like, it is what it is with me. So she ended up loading up her stuff and moving away. But before she left, she made it a thing to come to the job and go to the drive-thru so I could see her. So I think she had like text like, I know I'm finna come through there if you're getting ready to go on the highway. So I made my way to the front window to see her. And I seen her, I was like, golly, this woman. Ooh, I don't think nobody sent the shock through me like she did. So she moved away, but she eventually came back to go to college here. And so I always would call her while she was at home, but I noticed she was kind of giving me the runaround. It was always, I'm doing homework, blase. I'm studying for finals, all this. So I'm like, we wouldn't talk too much, but we did talk. So when she came back to start college, I didn't know she was back. I had already moved on and went to college or whatever I was doing. But one of the twins, the one who was pledging, his girlfriend at the time or whatever, me and her became real friends. We're friends to this day. So she was like, I don't know how she knew. She was like, your friend back in Decatur. I'm like, she is? She didn't tell me. I guess she was going, she seen her at the community college. And I'm like, I don't know how we end up linking back up. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to ask her. But long story short, me and her tried dating on and off for like, we were dating on and off for like 5 years, I think. Probably more than that. We was roughly, I'm gonna say 25 the last time we tried to split. But me and her are still best friends to this day. So, so we did our one Tuesday. We just wasn't the right fit. And I always told her, I kind of always had a clock on my back. I'm like, you're leaving. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not going to live in this place for the rest of your life. So she ended up moving back home. Once we broke up the last time, she ended up moving. So I was working at a job I was making $6.35 at McDonald's from 16 to whatever I stopped working there after high school, whatever it was. On this job, I was making $10.35 when I started. So I was working this job. I started working when I started working 6 days a week. I never did work 6 days a week. I worked my first overtime ever at that job. It was just one random week. They said, "You guys want to work?" And like I say, back in high school, me and my friends decided we might as well work one of these weekend days because we're not missing them, we're making money. So they was like, you want to work overtime? Like, yeah. So my checks was like, I mean, back then they was like 40-hour check was like $397 or some shit like that. But when I worked overtime, the check was like 503, five something, 525, five something. I like hell. These $500 checks gonna add up way faster than these $400 checks. So I started working 6 days a week, and that was about 2013 ish, 14 ish. So majority of my time there, I was working 6 days a week, anywhere between 48 and 60 hours. So once I got that first overtime check, I never worked a job where I wasn't making overtime. So that was like 2015. So from 2015 till 2022, minus COVID, I was working 6 days a week, every week nonstop from 2015 to 2022. It seems like. Yep. So I had a routine. If I had to go to work, let's say I worked Tuesday and I had to work Wednesday, when I got home Tuesday, I would not leave the house at all until I go to work Wednesday, because I didn't want to tweak my leg, get into an accident. I didn't want to do anything to prevent me from going to work. So one day, this when me and the girl broke up for the last time. One day she was like, I got off work and she was like, mind you, I was working second shift. So I was working 2:30 to, I don't know, 2:30 to like 11, I think. So I got off work and she was like, oh, I want to go out to eat, which that was our thing. We always went out to eat, always, always. Mind you, majority of the time we was together in a relationship, I was flat broke. It seems like. I don't know how that happens, whatever. So one of these days I got off work, I went home, showered. She's like, I want to go out to eat. I'm like, I don't want to dine in anywhere. We can go through a drive through. But she was like, I want to go out to eat, so we're going out to eat. I'm like, whatever. So I'm like, I don't want to dine in. Matter of fact, I'm not dining in. I don't go out after I. Mind you, she's my girlfriend. I'm like, bro, I literally just got off work. So So I didn't get off work and we went out to eat. So it must was in the morning at some point. But I had a routine. I get up at a certain time. I go to sleep at a certain time. So we ended up driving. I guess we was going to at the time we was going to O'Reilly's. I think is what it was called. So she said some kind of slick in the car. Matter of fact, it was Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm like, I don't want to dine in. She was like, you know what? Next time it's something you want to do, I'll make sure to ruin it. And I kind of took that like, oh, she had never said me as a man. So in that instant, I'm like, yeah, this over with. I'm not purposing I don't want to go out. I've been doing this for years. This is what I do. I'm not finna. If you don't understand, I'm not finna do something different because you want to. That's not how this works. So when she said that, I'm like, yeah, this over. So this was a Wednesday. I remember that. So we end up going in. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go in where I live. So we end up going in there. We never even ate. So we sat down. I must say one more thing about not want to be there. She was like, she got mad and she stormed out. But I'm calling her name and I'm steady calling her. Mind you, I don't know why I didn't drive. She drove and she stormed out of there. And I'm like, I'm calling her name as she stormed out. She never responded. But she ended up dropping me off back at home. And I'm like, bro, first off, you disrespect me as a man. And you were so mad that you can hear me talking to you. I don't want to be the person like that. I don't care who it is. So I end up telling her through text like an idiot. I'm like, yeah, let's break up because this ain't gonna work. This is bullshit. And I remember she texted back like, you a pussy. Why would you gonna tell me this through text? You told me this face to face. I'm like, Well, come to my house and I'll tell you face to face. My phone is. So yeah, we ended up breaking up. Cool, whatever. Mind you, she was in school and working a stupid ass job. She was trying to finish her degree or whatever. What happened after that? So I guess like the next day after we broke up, which was a Thursday, I'm stalking her social media, obviously, and I see she posted a picture being in Georgia. I'm like, how do you get to Georgia that day, the next day? So, which I have been telling her since we was 19, since I was 19, you're going to go back home eventually. So I comment on the picture, congratulations. So she telling me like she had a tough time with the breakup. She called her dad like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm done with school. I'm finished with school, whatever. She completed the school and home here where she was not her home. So she's like, shit, I'm starving. So I guess he told her like, go on, come home to the crib then. So she ended up moving home and that was cool. So although we dated, we were more friends than boyfriend and girlfriend. So I'm like, we continued to talk, communicate as friends. I'm like, what's going on, blase, blase. It's like, oh yeah, this guy, blase, blase. She was young at the time. This guy, she was like, this male friend, this male friend. This guy liked me, but he got too much going on, blase, blase. So she had no problem because we was best friends. She had no problem telling me what was going on, although we broke up. So she's always doing little slick shit like taking certain kind of pictures, knowing I'm looking like laying in this guy's bed or whatever it was at the time, blase, blase. So what happened after that? So yeah, so I move on with my life and I'm going to I'm in college. It's like, all right, you live in Georgia. I'm here. I'm not going to Georgia. I'm not living there at the time anyway. So there was this big party in college that I would always go to. It's called a barn party. And every time one of them rolls around, she'd kind of come like back around talking blase, blase, blase. I've been thinking this, woo, woo. I'm like, all right, well, I'm still gonna go to this party. So she didn't like me partying, whatever. So I'm having the time of my life at this party. So my phone started ringing. Now before the party, phone started ringing. I'm like, yeah, what's up, blase, blase. This me and her talking. I'm like, yeah, I'm just chilling, doing, doing what I do, working and whatever it is I'm doing, which was gambling and working and chasing girls, whatever. She was like, oh, I've been thinking, blah blah blah. I'm like, that ain't we ain't doing that. I don't go back. So one of the nights I was supposed to hit her back, I ended up getting up with another girl doing whatever I was doing. Me and that girl ain't friends no more. Whatever. Well, I'm friends with her, but I don't think she's too much like me. But yeah. So I'm going through college now. Me and this girl have not dated. We weren't dating while I was in college. We was friends though. The girl who I met at McDonald's. This timeline is messed up because we were dating while I was in college one of those years. And she popped up on me one day during it was during finals. She popped on me the day that the finals was due. The next day she popped up the day before the finals was due and came beat on my door. I let her like, what's up? We was dating at the time. She had moved, whatever. She like she beat on her. I'm like, what's up? So I let her in. She stormed in her house. Where that bitch at? I'm like, what girl? Ain't no girls in this house. What are you talking about? But she had been texting me for whatever reason. Her text was not coming through to my phone. I had to turn my phone off and on. I had got like 160 messages, 170 messages. So she looking everywhere in the apartment. I only had a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm like, bro, you can look here. There's nobody in here. Now I did have a girl there before, but it wasn't like that. It was a girl who I crushed on. We were just friends at that time. So now she come to my house. We're arguing. I'm literally doing my finals as we're arguing. I'm like, look, what's up? So I needed to complete that final to pass the class. So I'm arguing with her. So I don't feel think I ever told her, but I feel like she was the reason I failed out of that set community college. By this time, my friends were kind of they were kind of graduating. I think they were kind of done with the college. So whatever. I'm like that chapter was coming to an end anyway. Um, so she was even like, "I'll help you with the paper." I'm like, "Nah, I do it. Don't worry about it." So I end up writing the professor. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to turn this final. My girlfriend came. We argued all night as I was working on. It. He like, all right, well, if you don't turn it in, you're going to fail. If you turn it in, I will pass you. But whatever. No, he's more so like, if you turn it in, you're going to pass. So it's up to you. I understand. So long story short, I ended up not turning in and fell out of that college, which was cool because I've already got at that time. I already got what I wanted out of school. So the girl that I was strung out on in college, who only liked me as a friend, we ended up dating after college was over. What you want? Yeah.
Keep on going your podcast, bro.
This ain't a podcast. This is a live on my YouTube.
Same shit.
Yep. So this girl, oh my gosh. So I've been in 4 serious relationships in my life, and they stem from 16 to 36. So me and the girl who I liked in college who don't like me as a friend, she came to my house a few times. We literally just played the game. This timeline is all over the place. So I ended up failing out of college, going back to my job or whatever, where I was making a 10.35, working 60 hours, 6 days a week. Now I randomly um, was working. I randomly was driving, so I broke up with the girl from McDonald's, and I was driving to the college to just go party because I was still young or whatever. So the girl who I liked in college, my friend, she called me. She called me as I'm going to college. Like, she like, "What's up?" She like, I'm like, chilling. On my way there, she like, "Well, we go together." Now I'm like, "All right, I ain't got no problem with that." So by this time, I had never been to her apartment. So she like, "We go together." I'm like, "All right, well, where you at? I'll come to your house then." So mind you, so I finally get the girl I want. I got the chance I want, but we eventually didn't work out for whatever reason. And it was real good. Like that's my homegirl to this day. But she's in like a serious relationship with some guy. She's like, I don't feel it's right if me and you still talk. I'm like, we're not. I'm not flirting. We already know we're not getting back together. I just want to talk to you. Mind you, she told me this after she helped me with my relationship. So I end up dating the girl that I fell in love with. My freshman year, I ended up dating her. We ended up talking 10 years after we graduated. Which I from when we graduated to 10 years, I had only seen her twice ever, which was randomly at a mall. And I never knew that her and my mutual friend were best friends. So it's weird. So I was coming back from college just a random weekend, whatever it was. So there was a stretch in college I was living in my apartment, not going to school at all, just living there, being around, just walking around the college, the university campus, just meeting people, doing whatever I'm doing. So I get my chance with the girl from college who I was all about, and she like So then the girl who I broke up with called me one day randomly. I was actually at work, so I guess I was working, living at home, going to this college campus, which is hour wait whenever I wanted to, because I was making roughly 500 a week. So I remember I was at work on break or something. And the girl from McDonald's called me like, blase, I think we should get back together. I'm like, I guess I was going with the girl from college and working at the same time, however it goes. So I only ever spent the night with this college girl. Um, only ever we never lived together. I just spent the night with her a few nights, however you look at it. So I wanted to be honest with her. So I'm like, you do not want to date me. She's like, yes, I do. I talked to my family, blase, blase. And mind you, I've never seen this girl crying. So she was on the phone crying like, oh, I know you don't want to come to Georgia, so maybe we can move to Chicago. I know you got friends up there. I'm like, So I told my college girlfriend at the time, like, you know, I need to see about this because I've always wanted this from when I was 17, 18 at the time, like 23, 24, something. I don't know. So I'm like, I'm just going. I need to go just talk to her face to face to have this conversation because she's never said this to me, and I always been waiting on this. So she understood. She's like, all right, I ain't tripping. Mind you, I was trying to get with this girl for years too. She just kept it on me. So she like, I don't know. For that reason, she respected. I'm like, all right. So I met up with the girl at her grandmother's house where we spent all our time in. And I'm like, you know what's going on? She's like, I just was thinking, blase, blase, we got all this time together. We work, go to Springs, I don't feel like that now, but maybe I can grow to feel like I'm like, all right, so we talk. Oh, I should tell this truth. So we talked, had a conversation. We was like, I'm still gonna say no. I'm not. I already got a girlfriend. You know that. I don't know if you called me because you know I had a girlfriend, whatever it was, but whatever. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. I'm not going to Georgia no time soon. And I'm already got a girlfriend who I've been trying to be with, and I love this girl. So she was understanding because I don't know if it was that deep. I think she liked me as a friend more than as a boyfriend, whatever. So I guess I ended up staying night at her house. I slept on the floor. She slept in the bed. So I ended up like the next day going back to my girlfriend and telling her like, yeah, she was like blase, blase, but nah, I'm rocking with you. And I was a little extra loving on her, like kissing on her. Now, me and this girl from college, we never had sex because of, I don't know, I don't know who the fuck I dated for that. I was like, I just would rather us not have sex. I'm like for at least 3 months or a month. I might have said 3 months, and I don't think we lasted 3 months. I don't even know why we broke. I know why we broke up. It was something was missing. I didn't feel like that overwhelming. I want to be with you feel from her. So she ended up telling me later, like, I wasn't comfortable at that time doing that with anybody. Um, yep. So I think at the time, that is my heart to this day. I love that girl still, but I expect she got to do what she's serious about. So I don't bother. I might say hi here and there, but that's it. So she helped me through So I told you guys that I started dating the girl I fell in love with my freshman year. I started dating her 10 years at our 10-year reunion. We started communicating like we're going to talk to each other. And we moved extremely quick. So at the 10-year reunion, we have been inboxing because they started a Facebook group, and I seen she was kind of talking to me a lot in the group. And I've noticed, I'm like, I don't want to seem like she's not getting a response. So I just started communicating back. I think at that time I was already in a relationship with a girl. So at the reunion, she like, so are you gonna come talk to me? I'm like, I think so. Mind you, we have been texting and video calling all the time, and that was such a weird story. Talk, man, what's that? So so what happened? Yeah, so we had a good time at the reunion. I left the reunion from flirting with the girl who I was in love with since high school, and went home to the girl who I was in a relationship with, who I love now. And that's a whole different story. Me and this girl. Oh, that's if I didn't have a rule that I wouldn't go back, I would literally go back and date all my girlfriends, except my ex, my previous one, my ex fiance. So about her, so we started hitting it off around the 10 reunion. So I work in another job making. At this time, I jumped another. I went from making $10.65 to making $16.85. Working the same 6 days a week, 60 hours a week. So how do we get together initially? So I end up losing that job for whatever reason, whatever. So I was kind of done with home. I'm like, if you don't make that kind of money, there's no reason being here. So so we talking on the phone. She's like, blase, they got an ADM there. I'm like, girl, I don't have nothing here. I lost the job that I had. I got a TV, a game, and some clothes. She's like I said, they got an ADM there. I'm saying, all right, well, I'll be there this weekend. Yeah, I skipped the part. So the initial first time we talked was at her apartment. I think I planned to go see her because she was like, um, they got a ADM, they got a job down here you get. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I was went to get a rental because I wanted to, be a little whatever. I want to get a rental, but as I'm going to get a rental, they like, we don't have one. We don't have one to this evening because we got to clean out or something. Now, mind you, my little cousin happened to be driving past the rental place as I'm walking back to my car finna leave. She like, what you gonna come? I'm like, I was trying to get a rental. I'm going to go to St. Louis. She like, we can just go to St. Louis in my car. Are you sure? She like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So I've always, for whatever reason, I've always had a plan B to any relationship I was in. Plan B being a different girl who I knew I was going to talk to next, whatever, however it works out. So I'm skipping parts. So long story short, we end up dating. I end up going down there for the weekend. I end up, so I, so we was talking. I'm like, look, when I come, we cannot have sex. She's like, what are you talking about, bro? I don't even know you like that. We're not having sex. So you say that once 10 o'clock at night come, we're alone, you're going to want to have sex. So I end up. Oh, this was easy. My cousin should be calling me. He could get off work. So what we end up going down there to visit. So I had a girlfriend already. Whatever. I was together. She was pregnant. I was with her. I'll tell you about that story. That's a whole different story. I'll tell you about that. So I end up going down there and we end up talking. Mind you, she know I'm coming, so I'm like, her. I knew she had a daughter at the time. Because one of the two times I seen her within the 10 years, I seen her at my friend's house when I was coming back from college. And I seen her randomly in the mall with her baby. I'm like, what are you doing with a stroller? She's like, it's a baby there. What do you mean what I'm doing? I'm like, we're 19 years old. What do you mean? So I looked at the baby and I fell in love with her instantly. I'm like, wow, she's beautiful. She was less than a year because she was in a stroller. So I end up going down there to visit. I went to the mall to buy my girlfriend at the time some shoes. So I get her some shoes or whatever. I put it in the trunk. I got my clothes, so she like, yeah, the door unlocked, just walk in. So when I opened the door, her 10-year-old daughter is literally sitting on the couch eating dinner. She looked up like, Mom, there's a stranger in the house, but she didn't say she's looking like this. And I looked like, damn, that is that same baby that I seen. I did not mean to do an hour and a half. Um, what did I do? Let's see. So the kid stole my heart right in there. So I guess she called herself playing a joke on her daughter. So I come in. I don't know how it happened, but we end up having a heart to heart conversation. So I'm like, I don't know how this scenario went as far as the daughter being there. She might have went to sleep or something like that, and we end up talking. So the first thing I'm like, so what do you want out of this? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I can afford to come out here every other week or every weekend. Do you want like a weekend thing or do you want something real? She's like, well, something real. I'm like, all right. So we kind of moved a little fast. So we end up talking for like a few hours to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to go out anywhere. I came there to go out with my cousins or whatever. She's like, I already told my homegirl that we're going out. She's actually getting dressed on the way, so I'm like, okay, we gotta go out, we gotta go out. So we I'm like, blase, blase, I've been through this is what I've been doing, blase, blase. You know. So I'm like, yeah, so what you want from me? Like, I don't know if you're looking for happily ever after. You might want something, you might want nothing, I don't know. So we had a lot of fun that first day. So we chopped it up for hours to the point where I'm like, we talked about everything. So I'm like, I don't really want to go out anymore. I just want to sit here and talk to you. She's like, boy, we gotta go out. We done told all our friends, your family came, so we gotta go out. So I'm like, all right, we going out. So I'm like, I gotta go to the ATM. So her friends showed up and they like, we gotta go to the ATM. So we end up going to get some liquor and to the ATM and we went and got something to eat. So went to a restaurant called, what is it called? Jack in the Box. I never heard of, never seen it. So we went to a drive through. I'm like, I bet her $1. Like, I bet you $1 this on the menu for whatever reason. And she ended up winning the bet because whatever I was talking about wasn't. It was like a burger meal or something stupid. She's like, bro, that's not on this menu. So I'm like, all right, here goes $1. She beat me out of $1. It's dumb shit. She like, you ain't give me the $1. I won $1. So I'm like, whatever. So I go get the liquor, and we get back to the crib. Me and her are drinking. I'm drinking cranberry and goose. What the heck? So yeah. Long story short, we ended up going out. We had a great time. We went to some bar that was popping, and she like, this the bar that we go to first, and then we go to the after party. She like, so you might want to tell your cousin them don't go to the after party first. So we go to the ATM. Her and her friend get like, we all went together. Her and her friend end up getting like $40 out, $20, $40 out. She like, how much you get out? I'm like, give me 300 out. My card in, she got 300. She like, where the hell you going? I'm like, you never know what's gonna happen. So we get the money, go to the little bar. Woo, that night, boy. So I seen somebody who I knew from home coming out of the bar. He's like, I guess he called himself trying to little boy. Oh yeah, I pay you. I'm like, bro, I got my own bread. I'm paying for me and these two girls. What are you talking about? So we get in the club, I'm feeding them drinks all night, so we having fun. Me and the girl who I went there for, we was dancing in the club. Actually ended up tongue kissing in the middle of the floor. Being bad, so I'm with that. So we also go to the after party, so I'm studying by her friend, drinks all night. Just to get her loose, have a good time. So she drinking shots, dance with her little whatever she dance. We just all have fun, chilling. So we end up leaving the club at like 6 in the morning. Probably like 5 or 6. So we get back to her house. My cousin called me like, my car acting crazy, won't start. We straight. I'm like, where y'all at? She like, we at the club. So we drove 20 minutes to get to her house. Got there, got comfortable, then had to drive 20 minutes back to go get my cousin. So I'm like, cuz I meet up with her, talk to her. I'm like, so we get a car, jump and start. Like, so it's probably an alternator or something like that. So I gave her the money for the parts. Also gave her money to pay the mechanics to do the labor. So I'm like, cuz I cannot stay here with you. I have to go back home. I literally just started my job making 16.85 an hour. Like, cuz I cannot miss a day. Mind you, we got family in St. Louis. I'm like, so you got the money for the parts and the labor, and you got family. And she was with my other cousin, I believe. I'm like, cuz I gotta get up out of here. So we end up spending the night with the girl, and she ended up taking me home in the morning. Cause that's why I always get rentals. The rental I could have just swapped it out and got another one. So I'm like, do you mind taking me home? I got the gas money. So I paid her to take me home. She's like, yeah, I can do that. So I slept on the way to work. On the way on the highway, I slept on the highway. Slept all night. Slept all night and slept on the way there. So I was rested enough to work. Like I say, I've been conditioned to work 12s nonstop at that time. Around this time, I was working 60 hours a week nonstop every week, week in and week out, years straight. So I get home, I go to work. So I showered at her house and took my nap that I took every day. I ended up getting home. I think she dropped me off at my house, and I drove my car to work. Worked my little 12-hour shift. Um, Yep. So I ended up losing that job, and so that's what I said earlier. She was like, "Well, they got that down here." I'm like, "Well, I don't go back to jobs or fucking companies after I get fired or whatever it is. I'll figure it out eventually." So she had mentioned that. I'm like, "Bro, I will literally leave." So I paid, I paid my rent. I told mom, "Hey, look, I'm leaving." So I moved down there with her instantly, and it worked out well. I explained to her, I'm like, look, I'm a game freak. I will literally play this game for hours. I go to work and play the game. We lasted from 2017. We got together December 11th, 2017. We broke up July 1st, 2025. I've been single ever since, so nearly a year. We were doing good with the breakup at first, then it got ugly. So I'm still dealing with the ugly now, but we had a lot of good years, a lot of fun time, but I put her through a lot of bullshit too. But come to find out, so she's like, bro, you got trouble you haven't dealt with. I didn't know that because I went from one chapter of my life to the next. So we got to backtrack. So in between the ages of 16 and 18, my grandmother and brother both died. The grandmother who I lived with from a few weeks old to 8 passed away. My brother went first and then my grandmother. And I also went through breaking up my high school sweetheart. So I lost the two people I loved the most, plus going on my first heartbreak. So I was kind of fucked up emotionally from then on. I didn't know it because I was like, they died, okay. One interesting thing I liked about my grandmother was she was like my safe place. So I was doing good at my brother's funeral until they played a certain song, whatever. I broke down and I couldn't take it, so I got up and I was looking at my grandma. My mother was at the same funeral, so I stood up and I couldn't control my crying. Snot, eyes, everything. So somebody tapped me on my shoulder like, "Your grandma back here." I got up and I went to my grandma. Matter of fact, my mom was like, So she knew that she couldn't give me what I needed in that moment. So she was like, "Yo, grandma back here." So I got up and I went and sat next to my grandma. In a moment, I touched her shoulder. I laid my head on her shoulder, and I went straight to sleep. And I stopped crying. So my grandma eventually woke me up like, honey, it's time to go. I got to backtrack again. So mind you, I got a call from my favorite cousin on my dad's side of the family. He called me like, "Hey, you need to get to the hospital. Your brother is not finna make it through the night." Now, mind you, I was with the girl I don't believe we was dating at the time. I was at the girl house who I met at McDonald's. I was actually with her when I got the call about my brother about to pass away and my grandmother. So I was kind of bound by her on a different level. So they told me I got in the car and I drove home. And as I'm driving home, I passed my favorite cousin who called me. He like, "Yeah, blase, blase." I'm like, "I'm gonna go to the hospital now then." Like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z." So I ended up going to the hospital. I got there, he was already gone. He was on a ventilator, so he was dead, but he was alive but dead, if that makes sense. So I gave him a kiss on his forehead. I didn't talk to him, I just wanted to kiss him, so shit, I'm finna tear up now. I'm finna have to get off here. So yeah, I never really stepped back in that hospital till after I had a stroke, and I had to. So yeah, because of those losses, my brother, my grandmother, along with breaking up my high school sweetheart, my first love that I actually was in a relationship with, that kind of broke me in a way that I never knew I was broken in.